The name of this webinar is The Power of Participative Finance in Impact Investing, the role of crowdlending. Well, this webinar is part of the webinars that Bolsa Social is putting in place around the innovative methods of social impact finance. And today we have a terrific panel of experts who will give us a very interesting insight into existing initiatives to finance impacts projects. Well, for those who don't know us, I will give you a brief introduction of who we are. As you say on my back, I belong to Bolsa Social. Bolsa Social is a platform created in 2015 dedicated to finance projects of companies that generate positive social and environmental impact. Since its founding, the platform has funded rounds of equity for startups in seed stages from seed to pre-series A. And we currently have more than 30 projects on our portfolio for an amount of more than 9 million euro. From September 2021, we launched a new family of financing products. This is the crowdlending. So Bolsa Social has now both equity and lending for impact projects. And we aim with this new family of products to finance companies with more than 3 years of proven sales, are not startups, which generate positive and social environmental impact as all the projects that Bolsa Social present to their investors. The products we offer are senior loans, junior loans, convertible notes, and project finance loans, depending of the project. No? In this area, we have already financed 3 projects in the last 6 months, and we expect to do many more from now on. No? You will see in our website. Well, and without further ado, let me introduce today's guest. We have first Jan Guillem Grandia on behalf of One Planet Crowd and Startgrid Capital. Startgrid Capital is a platform located in the Netherlands, is part of the group Startgrid Capital, of course, and has funded more than 300 loans in different fields of activities. Jan Guillem will explain us further about their projects. Then we have Jorian Braster on behalf of Ethic Hub. Ethic Hub is a platform that improves the living standard of small farming communities by investing in their projects, buying their coffee, or providing liquidity for their loans. This is a very interesting project. Jory will, hopefully will explain further in this webinar. In third place, Alejandro de Leon on behalf of MeCrowd is a platform dedicated to financing the businesses of women entrepreneurs in Latin America. Very interesting platform, very deep impact. And Alejandro will tell us further about this project. No? And last but not least, I introduce Emilio Viudes. He's a very important person in this environment. Is an impact investor and has created some different initiatives to invest in impact projects. He will explain later. Well, thank you, all of you, for coming and stay with us to explain and clarify more about innovative ways to finance impact projects. Well, for all the attendants, if you wish, in order to be efficient with our time, we are going to put some order in the Q&A. So I ask you, if you have any question, just to put in the chat, and we will gather all that questions and ask our guest at the end of their presentation. So feel free to ask any question you have through the chat. No? Well, let's start. To start breaking the ice, I would like to ask our platforms first a couple of questions. If you don't mind, Jan Guillem from Startgrid, I will ask you first the questions. Can you please briefly explain what your platform does and how it works, briefly? And second question is, which stakeholders does your platform affect?
Yes, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm the CFO of Start Green Capital and One Planet Crowd. Start Green Capital is a fund manager, a sustainable fund manager that was started in 2006 already. And we manage funds mainly for institutional investors, but also for high net worth individuals. And what we do is we do impact investing on the fields of energy, sustainable energy transition, diversity, and circularity. So we manage specific funds with the aim not to get just a financial return, but also a social or environmental return. For example, we have funds focused on energy transition, but also a fund that is fully focusing on female entrepreneurs because, well, what we see from all kind of research is that they have more problems finding risk funding compared to male entrepreneurs. Start Green started One Planet Crowd in 2012. We are the first sustainable crowdfunding platform in the Netherlands. And what we do today, we have experience with, well, some different forms of crowdfunding in the past, but what we are doing for the last years is that we are offering a direct matching platform, which means that we offer retail investors as well as bigger investors the possibility to invest directly into a sustainable enterprise or in sustainable energy projects. And we also offer them the possibility to finance scale-up companies. Which means that we do, well, an extensive research before we accept a project on our platform. That means the whole risk due diligence, financial due diligence, customer due diligence. And once we have accepted that project, we publish it, and then the investors have the possibilities to direct invest for very small amounts. They can start with 250 euros, but we also do bigger amounts. So for example, the high net worth individuals, they're usually investing 100K plus. We as a group have at the moment over 450 million euros in assets under management. And with the crowdfunding platform, we did so far we did 80 million euros. And what we do is loans, bonds, and convertibles, and a bit of equity, but mainly loans and a bit of convertibles.
Okay. Okay, and Jan Willem, do you only have projects within the Netherlands, or do you also can invest all around Europe or any other country than the Netherlands?
The focus so far is definitely in the Netherlands, but we do also offer sometimes projects in other European countries, and we also did, for example, a solar park in Africa this year. But we are definitely looking into that. But the thing is, what we see is that you need a good network before you can invest there, because you need to make sure that you are offering well, a good financial opportunity to the investors. And of course, we don't have a network all over the world, so that's why we are careful there. But we are definitely interested in that to do that more. Yeah, and we're also looking always to work together with partners because we believe that it can be very interesting to, for example, in the European Union, to cooperate there, so that that we could offer investment opportunities to the Dutch investors, for example. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question for you. What is a tough question, I think. What is the main value proposition of your platform? I mean, what do you offer that your customers like the most, that differentiates you from the competitors? What do you think is the main value of Start Green Capital or One Planet Crowd?
Well, first of all, we offer what we call a double dividend. That means that we offer, first of all, well, we do everything we can to offer a decent financial return, but also a social return. That's one. And what we, besides that, see is that our investors are really interested to make a connection with the entrepreneurs. So what we are offering is not only in the investment phase, but also during the term of the project, during the term of the loan, for example, we try to make sure that they get business updates, they get informed about how the project or the company is doing. And that's what we see that investors are really enjoying compared to, for example, a more anonymous investment, for example, in just shares, for example. So really, we try to make sure that connection between the projects and the investors.
Yes, I think to be part of real economy, no, to
exactly.
Be part of every company. Okay,
yeah.
terrific.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Jan-Willem. And now we pass the ball to Yori. Welcome on board. Yori, just the same question. Tell us a brief explanation of what your platform does and how it works, and which stakeholders does your platform affect?
So, hello, thank you for inviting. In EthiHub, but we are with the mission of helping smallholder farmers in developing economies, which are most of the majority of the excluded from the traditional financial system. And how we do that? So we start with lending, because one of the main reasons they are trapped in the poverty circle is because they cannot access affordable capital to invest into their land to increase productivity. So you can lend them at 8%, super secure. So this is one stakeholder, the lender or returning lender, lending out at 8% for now. Then the farmers, which normally are in cooperative of farmers, as the borrowers in our platform. Then we have the auditors who search for loan originators. For now, but the idea is that this becomes a protocol and a lot of new auditors can come, but they have to buy our token, the ethics, and stake on behalf of the farmers after doing the due diligence process. And there is a lot of theory of games, how to onboard new auditors in the system, etc. And finally, we have the crypto guys, the high risk, high return, who buy our crypto, the ethics, and stake on behalf of the farmers. So farmers have collateral. So other low risk, low return people lend them money. This is the four stakeholders within the lending protocol, but we are also working in helping them sell their crops. Because at the end, the problem is you go to a very small parcel of land in the mountains, so it's super expensive to do due diligence. So in order to have sustainable finance, you cannot work directly with one farmer. You have to do a lot of business with these farmers. So we are working with people who provide a lot of value to these farmers. And we are working with the value chain of the farmers. So this value chain, these cooperatives also can sell fertilizer or other supplies to the farmers. Afterwards, they buy the coffee, process the coffee, and sell. Our main business model for now is selling coffee. And finally, we are working to tokenizing the carbon credit of the farmer, because this is agroforestry. There is a lot of carbon retention over there. So we want to tokenize that carbon and sell, and create a revenue stream for that farmers and also for the system in general. So mainly that's it. A lot of things we do.
Okay, you have two different or two new innovative ways of investing. There are the tokens and the crypto currency, no? you also have different kind of risks in terms of the tool you use, no? And what do you think is the main value proposition of Ethic Hub with these tools you use?
So for me, blockchain changed the backend of fintech, no, of the traditional financial system. So we can provide something. It's impossible to provide other ways. That is full traceability. You interact from your wallet to the wallet of the cooperative through a smart contract. We are not custodians of the money, nor bank is custodian of the money. And it makes a lot of transparency, efficiency, automatization of processes, etc. No? This is just for the lending, but also blockchain allows to create our token. That is a way to create an incentive loop, which means the more lending, the more demand for the ethics, the more demand for the ethics, the more secure is the platform because the compensation system is built of ethics. So the more demand for the ethics, the more value for the ethics, the more ethics in the compensation system, the more secure is the platform, the more people can trust the system because it's more collateralized the system, etc. So that's an incentive loop. And in general, I think the value proposition, the main differentiation is a super holistic approach of how to solve this super complex system that is suffering these smallholder farmers. It's not easy to solve. So you have to take a very holistic approach and provide value in different ways in order to have a good unit economics and be sustainable when working with them.
Okay, very interesting. And Jory, just another question. What about your investor? Do you think these kind of tools gives more confidence for your investors? Do you think the investors are prepared to use these new tools of investing?
I mean, for now, the crypto investors are very happy with the compensation system, staking ethics, providing collateral, that we are much more successful. We have more than 10 times collateralized the system for now. The lending using contracts and stable coins, dollars, digital dollars, is a tough thing. It is a pain. It is a very bad user experience, and it does, instead of people valuing the transparency and the security of using blockchain, they just suffer the bad user experience and they have fear of crypto, etc. So for now, it didn't help, but as always with innovation, being first mover is super tough.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and now please, Alejandro, tell us about MeCrowd. Explain briefly what your platform does and how it works, and what people affects and impact your platform.
Well, hello everyone, and thanks Eduardo for inviting me to this event. Well, in MeCrowd, basically we just extend loans to women at the bottom of the pyramid. 6 countries, Mexico, Peru, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Uruguay, and now we're open in Guatemala. And basically we just want to overperform the stock exchange. I mean, we wanna deliver more than 7% interest rate to the investors, not interest rate, performance actually. And also we wanna lend at a very good rates to the women we are lending. Currently, we are lending at a 30% interest rate, and meanwhile, the market is lending at a 85% interest rate where we are lending. So basically, we based everything on technology and no middle management, and that's why we can lend like with super low interest rates. So we are basically in MeCrowd, we are trying to mix the profit with the social impact that we also measure.
Okay, and these kind of loans are secured for investors. This scope of clients do you have women entrepreneurs? It's a secure asset for the investors.
No, they are not secure. The thing is that they can diversify their portfolios like really hard. So they can, for example, with $1,000, I mean, you can have 100 investees, no, 100 women. So you can diversify your portfolio and of course diversify your risk. Currently, we have only 5% non-performing loans, which is basically the loans that they haven't paid in the last 24 months. We are very patient, but also we think they deserve us to be patient because they are trying really hard to repay. No? In MeCrowd, we try them to think that their best option is to repay the loan, because once they repay, they are going to have a new loan, and they are going to have this new loan with a bigger amount and lower interest rate. So little by little, we are building a club. So they feel that they're in a club, and they feel that instead of receiving a loan, they have somehow the possibility to be financed in the next 7 years, not 7 weeks, no? As microfinance works usually. No, so basically that's how we secure the performance we are delivering now, by letting them know that they are going to be with us in the super long term.
Okay. Thank you, Alejandro. And you said before that you are running the business in 6 countries in Latin America. Mm-hmm. How do you originate the projects? How do you do? Because there is a very big space where you are running business, and how do you originate
well,
this?
We are 100 people in our company, so that's one reason. And we are lending in 110 communities with 11 offices. So basically that's how we do it. Every 150,000 euros, we need to hire someone. So basically we are always hiring. And we plan to deliver this year. If we don't get any more money, we are gonna deliver around $15 million. So basically we have to plan like really in advance every move that we are gonna do, because as you can see, it's a very intensive company in terms of people, no? So basically we have, as I said, 100 people, 50 of them, they are people that they are constantly recruiting these, as we call, extraordinary women.
Okay. And just another question, Alejandro. What about your investors? Where are they come from? From Europe, from all around the world, from America as well?
From all around the world, especially, of course, as you can guess, Spain and then Europe. But for example, we are investing with a fund in Mexico right now, with a debt fund, a mezzanine debt fund in Mexico. And also we are planning to open in the United States. We are opening a new fund in the United States. We have currently 2 funds, one in Spain and the other one in Andorra. And we are opening our 3rd fund in the US. So basically this is how we do it. We try to as Jan explained it before, we try to make synergies with different players in the different sectors. So if we see the opportunity, we try to invest over there. But yes, now we are opening our network in Latin America with this first debt fund that we have, and we plan to expand to the US in early next year.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting proposals, all of you, that touch deep in our hearts. And okay, and now, Emilio, it's your turn. Please give us your opinion as an investor. You you know any other initiatives and you run one by yourself. And first of all, I would like to know what motivates you to invest in this kind of projects or platforms and this kind of impact, no? And then what do you think about the IT platform to do this in investments? You are muted, Emilio.
First of all, now, excuse me. First of all, let me thank you, Eduardo and Bolsa Social, for inviting me to participate in this webinar.
You're welcome.
I work for an independent private banking firm, you know, but I'm here because I help to manage a kind of mini endowment fund that invests part of its portfolio in social and impact companies, both in equity crowdfunding and also in crowdlending. To answer your first question, I think at the beginning of the webinar, Jan Willem has explained it very well. What we look for an investment is to combine an attractive financial return with an attractive non-financial return that is the positive impact in society and environment. What is clear is that crowdlending, crowdfunding in general, is an investment and is not a donation. So like any investment, what we look is to obtain a financial return and of course to preserve capital. And by financing these social and impact companies, what we are willing to give up part of this financial return in exchange of a non-financial return that is this positive impact that we mentioned before. So what we definitely want is to participate in helping these impact companies to get the right financing. And the other thing that me and the investors behind our fund are looking for is real economy projects. It's very different to invest in, put your money in a company that you know their name and you know have a lot of information, and then invest in a mutual investment fund that where a fund manager invests your money, a fund manager that you are never going to meet in a company that perhaps you have never heard of. So it's a completely different experience. And we are looking just the first one. No? And regarding your question about the IT platforms, we do both. Again, we do direct lending transactions and also transactions through crowdlending platforms. And as you can imagine, there are completely different experiences. If you do direct lending, you have more access for sure to the management of the company, quick access to information. They are much more exclusive transactions. But on the other hand, you have that you need much more time to analyze the company, to implement a good risk analysis, to negotiate the financial conditions, the legal terms of the contracts. And once you have done the investment, you have to take more time to continuously monitoring the company. So I would say crowdlending, it's much more easier to do the investments because the platform is doing this job for you. I mean, the jobs of selecting companies, it's a much more standard and controlled investment in the sense that you have the legal terms completely clear, the financial conditions completely negotiated, more updated information. So it's much easier, and direct lending only makes sense if you do a big investment volume. Otherwise, investing through a platform, it's the only way to do it.
Okay, then you, in order to diversify your investment, you prefer IT platforms, and you can diversify in more projects, isn't it?
Yes, as I told you, we have done both types of transactions. mainly through Bolsa Social and another platform. We have done 3 different transactions in Crowdlending, and we have done 2 more through direct lending. So,
okay.
So I can say you that I see a lot of differences between the 2 ways of doing it.
Okay, okay. And let me ask you one question regarding your current investments you are doing through platforms. You are using Bolsa Social, are using some other IT and technological tools. What do you appreciate more from these current investments you are doing through platforms, I mean?
Sure. What I most appreciate is the good company risk analysis. For us as investors, what is really critical is to have a good track record in number of transactions and in number of successful transactions. I mean, if the risk analysis is not good and the company goes bankruptcy or whatever, this is bad news for the platform. So what it really makes the difference is this good track record in number of successful transactions. That's for us. Of course, there are another very important issues in relation with the platforms. For us, it's compulsory that it needs to be completely regulated, have all the regulatory approvals to avoid negative surprises. I mean, you know that to be here in Spain, approved by CNMV, and also another increasingly important issue is the security of cybersecurity issues. We are hearing day by day bad news, and have this completely guaranteed that your user data are completely protected is very important also for us. So we have in one hand the pure financial good track records, and on the other hand, the technical issues that are also very important, and regulatory ones.
Okay. Just one last question, Emilio. What things would you like to have in impact invested? What you don't have now and you would like to have in the future at the project level and at the technical level, IT or financial? You can choose whatever you want.
From project level, I mean, from what I would like to have, it's a wider range of investment options. In Crowdlending, I mean, no more than that, but in Crowdlending have, I said, wider range. I mean, more options, 10, 20, 30, 40 different options. So you can choose the type of risk you want, the type of sector you want, the maturity you fitting you for your portfolio. So if you only have 2, 3, 4, it's difficult to make a diversified portfolio. But what I miss is more variety of crowdlending transactions. And also, another thing that I miss for managing a portfolio of 15, 20, 30 different investments, it's a secondary market. I mean, it's very difficult. I'm aware that it's very difficult to have a secondary market, a liquid secondary market, but I miss it just to increase our investment in one specific company, or just the opposite, just to decrease a little bit, or to reduce the portfolio because the fund is decreasing or it's growing. So to manage the risk of the portfolio and the size of the fund, what I miss is a good secondary market. I know it's difficult, but I am hearing about fintechs initiatives, mainly private markets, in which exchange directly between investors assets, it's cheap and quick, and you don't need the company to be in the middle. So perhaps it could be in the near future can be initiative to have this secondary market. And in the technical level, to be honest, I don't know. I hear, Jory, that blockchain is the future. I'm not an expert at all in blockchain. I'm sure that it's the future, the smart contracts and so on. And I know the future is going that way. So all the progress made in this blockchain path would be great.
Okay, you give us good tips, Emilio, to us for us to improve our platforms, and we will take note of these desires from our investors to increase our services. Well, we don't have questions from the chat. I'm going to ask to the platforms another question, Jan Willem, for example, what are the next steps you will take in your platform?
Yeah, so currently we have been quite busy, as probably all other European platforms, with obtaining the new license that we need to have, this ESCPR license. So we are in the middle of that process currently, and waiting the approval of our regulator. What we are doing now is that we also see is that it is important for us as a platform to increase the volumes. So because we need higher volumes to also make sure that we can be able to have a sustainable business model also in the longer future. So we are well, what we have been doing actually for the last couple of years, but we are still doing the next steps on our strategy. And that means that we are focusing on sustainable energy projects, scale up and sustainable real estate. And we are also trying to have more professional investors, institutional investors attracting to our platform. Because what we believe is that crowdfunding started, well, as a more, I would say, social initiative. Sometimes it was donations, sometimes it was more like a Kickstarter, a reward kind of thing. And we definitely made the choice to become a professional investment platform, direct investment platform for our investors. And that also means that we are constantly investing into make sure that our platform is getting more and more professional. For example, all the requests that Emilio stated that I fully understand, and investors would like to have a clear performance overview. They would like to see the status of their portfolio. They would like to see clear insights. They would like to get good quarterly reports. For example, what we are also working on now, because that is an opportunity that comes with CSPR, I'm always struggling with that legislation, is that we will offer a bulletin board which makes the secondary market more available for investors. It's still not a trading platform, but still this means that we can offer secondary market products to our investors. And specifically for example, sustainable energy projects, it can be very interesting because usually those are projects that can, well, take sometimes 15 years to pay back, and that's quite a long term. So we feel that for projects with such a long payback term, it should be always possible to make sure that they are available on the secondary market, so people can sell their bonds, for example. So to answer your question, honestly, we're not starting to do something specifically new, but we are continuing what we have been doing for the last couple of years. And that means, making sure that our investors have the best experience that they can expect from us.
Okay, thank you, Jan Willem. Alejandro told us the next steps you will take in terms of the new funds, Mexico, USA, but what are your long-term objectives in your platform? What do you want to reach in maybe 5 years, 10 years on the horizon?
Well, we are closing our first fund, the one we have in Spain, we are closing it in 3 years, and we want to deliver, as I said, more than 7% dividend. So yeah, we are super focused on overperforming the market, because if we show that social impact can be profitable plus with this social impact, we are going to be able to bring a lot more money than we have now. No? So this would be my first focus. Second one, we are really focused on technology, because the thing is that the only way to beat our competitors and to be super sexy for our women is to lend at a very low interest rate. So we are trying to find a place between being profitable on one side and being sexy and appealing on the other side, no? Because the thing is, you need them to repay your loans, as you can guess. We don't want any non-performing loans, but we try to make a very, very naive somehow product for them not to be very stressed with the repayments. Because the thing is, we have shown that we can have low non-performing loans rates, and at the same time be very competitive with the rest of the products. So we have to find a way for our women and our clients to be successful and to have proceeds from their businesses and to be able to create jobs, for example. And at the same time, we have to show that we can, as I said, beat the market, be profitable, be competitive, and be face-to-face with real estate and with stock bonds and stock markets. So that's pretty much it. We don't want to sell their PD. We don't want to feel our investors bad. We want our investors to feel super good that they are building a brighter future, and meanwhile they are making money. So we are facing the markets like face-to-face. That's how we do it.
Okay. Very good. Okay, we have one question from the people that are hearing us. They said, do you think that the growth market could be a good chance for development of the secondary market? I think this question is for all of you. Maybe one of you want to take this question. One is, well, the market is growing, the first question. And the second one, if this situation is good to create a secondary market, are we far or are we close to this situation? Anyone want to have us an opinion?
For me,
Jory, okay, go on.
One way of building secondary markets that can be composable between all platforms and all assets is with crypto. Natively in blockchain, when you lend, you are basically buying a bond, and this bond is an NFT, and this NFT can be sold in whichever marketplace, and there just need to be more platforms doing NFT bonds and a marketplace for that NFT bonds from all the platforms, and liquidity for looking for opportunities in this specialized marketplace.
Okay, any other
opinion? I will add that completely agree with Jory that the blockchain is going to help in the secondary market. And also, I think that Jan Willem said before that it's the access of the institutional investors to these assets will also make more liquid the market, because they are moving more than a retail investor in their portfolio. So if the market grows per se, institutional investors get into this specific market, and we have the technology, perhaps the combination of 3 or more things is going to make it more liquid, the secondary market.
Okay, this put pressure on the origination of projects that we have to feed that wheel of investment, and well, we have to find proper projects in terms of risk and profitability. No, I think is the main issue for us. Okay, I think we have another question. Do you think that the growth markets in EU could be a good chance for development of the second? Okay, it's the same question from Daniela. Okay, let's see more questions. Okay, well, I have a question to Jory. What for you, for your platform, what are the main problems you are facing in developing your company and main activities? What are the main problems you faced during this process of launching your platform?
Maybe that we are to focus on leveraging on blockchain technology, as part of the value proposition in order to be first movers in this regard. But this also has been super tough to build. The technology is not prepared. We have to build many things by our own. Development is super expensive in crypto. So it has been more than a pain than a benefit until now. But I think it's more kind of future led to be.
Okay, well, the time has run faster than we expected. We have one more question for you. Facing the future, looking with a crystal ball in the future, where do you think impact investment will go? I think it will grow, but there are a lot of noise. Everyone now is sustainable, and we have to see if there is greenwashing everywhere. How are we going to translate the projects properly to the investors? Do you think this noise we are hearing today is going to be good for the future of real impact investment? What do you think about it?
Well, in my opinion, greenwashing is good at the very beginning, because at the very beginning you need someone to look crazy and to move things forward. So at the very beginning they are gonna seem crazy, but at some point they're gonna be okay. So I truly believe in social impact, taking in consideration two things. The first one is second one is the way.
So sorry, Alejandro, we didn't hear the first and the second. I don't know if you move your head, it changed the micro. Okay, and Alejandro, leave us.
So if
yes, Jory.
So I like when people say impact investing is just investing. The problem is we had no consciousness that we have to invest with looking at three balance sheets, not only the economical balance sheet, but also the environmental and the social balance sheets. And in the future, from my point of view, investments that are not sustainable also, not only economically, but environmentally and socially, just won't be sustainable anymore, because there is a lot of advantages for companies doing sustainable things. So the companies that are not sustainable just will lose customers and investors, and will end up, if they don't change to be more sustainable. So in my view, the future is we will stop speaking about impact investing, because it will be just investing.
Okay, Alejandro, sorry, I put the word on Jory. And
can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. No, so what I was saying basically is that first one, we have shown that social impact has grown lately like super fast, and that people, I mean, I was meeting people for the last 4 6 years, and I've seen that things have changed. This would be the first thing I would like to mention. And second, well, Joy mentioned it somehow. I truly believe as well in people thinking that this is not social, or this is not social or regular or whatever. No, I think we have to truly believe in businesses. We have to truly believe in entrepreneurs, and we have to truly believe in each other. And if we do this, we are going to build social companies, even if we don't know that they are social. But I think we have to gather all initiatives that they are basically improving the life of others. So that's a way to go, in my opinion. When I listen to people saying, no, Amazon, they have a business model that is not increasing the life of others, and I say, okay, Amazon has 3 million companies under his radar, and they are helping 3 million people at least to grow their businesses. So I truly believe in the social big impact that Amazon has, or all the platforms that we are here today.
Yes, you mean that the real economy has a social impact in terms of employees and employment and all that stuff, no?
And not only job creation, I truly believe in real economy as well, but in terms of improving the life of others. It's not only creating jobs, but doing the things that they are doing. They are offering products that they have never been offered before in places. No, for example, I open. We finance a hairdresser, who is the first hairdresser in a community with no hairdressers before, and things like this. So with different initiatives, you're improving the life of others.
Okay, thank you. Jan Willem, you have any opinion about the future?
Yeah, well, I agree that I think that impact investing will become more and more mainstream investing, because I think that the regular investor is becoming more and more aware that we need to do something differently than we did in the past. I also believe that at this point, there's still a lot of greenwashing going on, but I also think that specifically for crowdfunding and direct investing, is that greenwashing is more difficult, because there is some kind of direct relation between the investor and the company and the project. So they know what they are investing in, instead of, for example, a more anonymous mutual fund where you're investing. So I think that crowdfunding, if you have the promise to your investor that you offer impact investing propositions, I think greenwashing doesn't make any sense, because you're not going to survive, because people will get aware of that. So yeah.
Yes, we have a question from Rafael, and that said, what about social washing? No, I think impact, we are talking about environmental and social, no, both.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so that is the same, and maybe social washing is also perhaps more difficult to track. I don't know. Could be, yeah, but I think it's the same.
Yes, and Emilio, have a question. Where do you think these types of solutions will go? In your point of view, these kind of platforms, technology solutions for investing, where do you think these solutions will go regarding the future of this kind of impact investing?
Sure. Let me add briefly. I agree with the rest of participants in the sense that social and impact investing is growing, and it's growing rapidly. As I mentioned before, I work for a private banking firm, and what we see in the private banking industry are 3 clear trends that fits perfectly with crowdfunding and crowdlending. That the first is that the younger savers has less appetite for risk in general, and little interest in listed the stock markets and bond markets. The second one is that apart from crypto world, they prefer to invest in real economy projects. And the third trend is that all the clients, the younger ones and the older ones, all of them, they have greater interest in social impact and also philanthropic investments. So it's clear that it's going to grow in the future, and the platforms, what they need to do is to adapt their offer of products to this growing demand. We have seen in progress also in this specialization. I don't know if it's a correct word, but the platforms perhaps need to be more thematic in just one sector or in just one thematic or whatever. I mean, for example, in gastronomy, art, or startups, or real estate, or we need, or not we need, but we are going to see this specialization, I think, in the future.
Okay, if I understand well, you said that young savers have less appetite for risk. They don't like risk.
In the stock, in the listed stock markets, they prefer to invest in private equity funds or in crowdlending, crowdfunding, more than in stocks, bonds, investment funds. It's clear. And in general, they prefer to have younger savers. Contra-intuitively, they prefer to have their money in cash more than invested in stocks, in the stock exchanges, in the stock market.
Can I add something to this?
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to say that Emilio was totally right, and there's another thing that we have to see, that is transparency. I mean, today with a couple of clicks, we can go through the audits of almost every company that wants to be in social impact. So we can trust not only the ones that they are listed, as Emilio said, but also the ones that they are not that big, but they are audited. They have all the processes in the website, and you can truly understand what they are doing by clicking on the website and taking a little bit of time. So transparency is one of the names of the game, I think, as well.
Completely agree with Alejandro.
Yes,
we are somehow all listed now.
Yes, sure. Well, just the last question I would like to ask you. We are now seeing that the environment is changing. The interest rate is increasing. In the last 12, 15 years, we have been living in a low interest rate environment. Do you think this change of interest rate will be good for platforms? Or will be something that will take our investors out to some other options with less risk and some interest rate that has been under zero until now, and it's becoming low interest rate but positive? Do you think it's going to be good for this kind of investment, or would be a bad moment for this kind of investment?
I will start. You have the two ways of looking at it. My opinion, my personal opinion, it's bad news for this type of investment. If you have no alternative to invest your money in fixed income or in equities, you look for alternative investments like can be crowdfunding, crowdlending, and so on. If you have the interest rates going up, today we have the T-bond, the 10 years bond in the US at 340, 350%. That makes more difficult to have to offer an attractive alternative to this. So it's going to be more difficult for the companies to finance at a lower interest rate, and it's going to be more difficult to offer products to this growing demand that we were mentioning before. So it's not, my opinion is not good news.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, I think we have the environment is getting hard for to get in investors, but I think we have something different, that we are impact investors. We are we have to look. You told us in this event, the investors look for financial and social return. No? So we still have this social impact return that it doesn't has markets of increase or decrease, just in some other qualitative terms like greenwashing or this kind of rigorous and tough analysis and doing things right. No, and this is our value, I think. No. Well, we don't have much time. You have something to say? We just have 1 minute. Alejandro, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that once we try to get investors, they are going to invest only maybe 1% of the total network. So, I mean, you are not going to be in or out depending on the interest rates, I think. You're going to be in or out depending on the value proposition you have.
Okay.
Yeah, and
actually, I have 1,000 investors, and none of them, they have more than, I guess they have more than 1% of the total network with us.
Yes,
sure. We are super alternative as of today.
Okay, Jan-Willem, you have.
Yeah, one more thing, because I agree with Emilio, but there's also, I would say, part of this trend test is also that there is less liquidity in the market, in the global markets, which means that it is more difficult for projects to get a finance. And that means also that it becomes easy. We see that it becomes easier now to make sure that we get the good qualitative projects from the market because they are now also interested more in crowdfunding. Because what we see is that banks, for example, are more reluctant to provide them with loans. So we're really offering them, I would say, a good alternative for those entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So just to continue with this point, I think impact investing is a tiny thing. It's $1 trillion. That's nothing in global economy. So, and while, I don't know, traditional food is growing 2% per year, impact or sustainable food is growing 20-30% per year. Same happens with all impact investing. Is taking a bigger share in the cake. So for me, even though the full financing market is decreasing sharply, the niche of impact investing can continue growing even in this macro environment.
Hopefully in the future it's going to be never a niche. No? It should be a big part of the economy. Hopefully we will see in the future. Okay.
Just for ending, to explain again myself, it's going to be tougher times, but I really think that the impact market is going to still growing for the next years.
Okay. Thank you, Emilio. Okay, we are finishing this webinar. Thank you very much, all of you. We only have words of grateful for our speakers. Well, that have saved the date. You are very busy people. And very interesting opinions and sides of this sector. Each company, thank you very much. Thank you for coming and thank you for running these initiatives you have, and thank you, Emilio, for your opinions taking part in this webinar. Hopefully we all contribute to make a better world for our children, for sure. And okay, see you next time.
Thanks to you, Eduardo.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.